What's up, tribe? I'm Travis James here with my producer Honcho, and on this episode, we drag Honcho to the edge to find a prehistoric Megatooth. Now, does he find the fossil, or is he gonna have to find the inner strength to push himself beyond his limits? It's now time to dive deeper into the spirit of Dragged Wild. This is Dragged Wild Afterbytes.
Did you just call me a fossil?
Come on.
Hello and welcome back home, tribe. I am Honcho, the producer for Dragged Wild Afterbytes, but I want you to think of me more as one of your favorite uncles. You know, the one who brings illegal fireworks to the barbecue, probably bought you Christmas presents you didn't deserve, they're really expensive. You know, the one that always brings you great things. Just call me Uncle Honcho. And today I'm bringing you one really great thing. What can I say about this guy? He's an adventurer. He's a legend. He loves Mother Nature so much that she had to get a restraining order against him. Something about him giving her some kind of STD or something like that. Whatever
What?
you call those things. Anyway, my man, Travis James.
Honcho, that was quite the introduction. Hopefully she's not too litigious because
I read the court papers.
what happens in nature stays in nature.
I don't judge, I just read the papers. It's on TMZ.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm super excited about this episode, Operation Megatooth, because it's an opportunity to dive deeper into our Dragged Wild show where you were the guest and you really exemplified what it means to be pulled out into nature and transformed.
For me, it was really proof of the whole Dragged Wild concept. It really changed my perspective, so I can't wait to talk more about that, so I can attest to how Dragged Wild actually works. But of course, before we start that, we have to thank our generous sponsors. And first up on there is Tico Tom's. Tico Tom's freshly ground coffee from Costa Rica. It's very special coffee. I'll tell you what, it's so good. It's almost like cocaine for good people. That's how good this coffee is. Of course, Travis, you know why it's so good, and why is that?
Apparently it's because he grinds better than anybody, even though it hurts my soul to say that.
And this coffee comes with a guarantee. If it does not wake you up, he will come to your door and personally drag you out of bed so you can experience the Tico Tom experience. So anyway, thank you, Tico Tom.
Have you ever experienced that?
Did you let him know that his check's a little bit late? I don't know. You know, it's been a couple of months.
He's dodging the question.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced him personally coming and waking you up?
Can you make a check? I know he makes good coffee.
He's good at dodging.
Can you make a check? Also, our kind of unofficial sponsor, because really it's just something that gets us through the show, which is our Honcho Ritas. Soon to be available nowhere. But someday, you yourself may get a chance to experience what it takes. This is what it takes to get me and Travis through a show. Let me tell you, this is some strong stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I promise you, if you are ever one of those people who get lucky enough to be on one of our experiences or maybe be part of our crew, whatever moment you might be able to serve us, if that's really what it's all about, then you may get to partake of the fabulous Honcho Ritas. Until then,
Typical producer talk.
cheers to that. All right.
Cheers.
And speaking of Honcho Ritas and feeling good, because they make you feel good, before we start every show, we take a minute with our tribe and we'll take a quick cheer. And the cheer could be, for us in this case, the cheer is what? What do we have here? Tequila?
Tequila.
It's tequila. But for you, it could be tea, it could be arugula salad. I don't know what it is. You could like to smoke a little. It doesn't matter. Do a gummy. At this very moment, all of us are a tribe. We have power, we have love. So no matter what you choose to cheer with, join us here for a moment. And cheers to you, Travis. Cheers to our crew. We won't name them because they'll probably want money for it. So cheers, everybody. We're brothers, but don't ask for money. Okay, that's the point. Cheers, everybody, to the tribe. Okay, Travis, I'm anxious to get to this show, man, and I know I learned a lot from it. I assumed kind of that you didn't because you're so used to dragging people wild, being in situations where people aren't comfortable, but because you've been through them, that you probably wouldn't learn anything.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm always learning and always growing, but the part that gets me super excited is being able to experience it. And that was on this episode, to be living vicariously through you. Whatever happens, I get to be tethered to your emotions, to your trials and tribulations, getting your perspective of dealing with adversity, being able to rise up to the challenge and go through it with conviction, confidence, dedication that I didn't even know if you knew you had inside of you. Watching that on a front row seat is something that I have recognized is a major passion of mine. So I want to say thank you for that. And every single time that we bring a guest out there, it's a very similar occurrence to where I get to live through their eyes. And that's something that makes my soul just filled with enthusiasm.
I kind of assumed everybody would respect me enough not to actually drag me wild.
No just mercy.
To put me in a situation that's fun, and as long as I'm having fun, we're all good. Okay, before I get too deep into my experience, so Travis, what was the whole plan? Tell us what you had planned for this.
Yeah, so Operation Megatooth, the episode, was set up in a way where I wanted to bring Honcho face to face with a challenge. And that challenge is he is a certified diver, but I wanted him to be able to do a beach dive on his very own fossil hunting expedition to find a Carcharodon megalodon tooth. We just did Jurassic Bite episode where we found a whole bunch of little teeth and you found an awesome crocodilian tooth. But I didn't want to give up until you found your very own giant meg tooth. So the idea was to push you even further, get into that ocean, suiting up, going in for a dive, challenging yourself through the waves, through the surf, getting out there to find your very own meg tooth.
But you didn't think it was going to be as hard as it actually was, right?
So you never know. Where we went diving, it could have been a bathtub, or it could have been as rough as it ended up being. It could have been even rougher. But the situation that presented itself to us was difficult, but with that difficulty, it set up the beautiful transformation of you being able to overcome it.
Well, so let me give a little background here. He told me we're going to a beach, Venice Beach in Florida. And one of the ways he got me there was to say, hey, it's a beach. I'm thinking,
Mai Tais.
I'm thinking, hey, we're at the beach. There's probably a bar close by. We're digging in the sand a little bit for some teeth. I was not quite understanding the magnitude of what we were getting ready to do.
And something that's neat about that point you just brought up is how crazy was it that we did have a wild adventure when people right around us were on the beach, playing in the water, drinking daiquiris, just enjoying themselves, while we were having an adventure, a potentially life-threatening adventure right next to them.
Oh, and one thing I forgot to say, to the end of me being like a real guest, we really did this. Like, I let Travis plan a lot of this, and I kind of just went like, I don't want to know.
To get the true Drag Wild experience.
Right. So one thing I want to make clear to everybody that I really didn't know a lot of the stuff that we were going to do because I really wanted to be true to the experience and be like a guest who didn't know. So in this case, I let Travis handle a lot of the arrangements. It didn't always turn out perfect because you can't trust him all the time because he will give you the ultimate experience. So time means nothing to this man here.
My job is to push as far as the guests will allow me because it's in that difficulty that the reward becomes even sweeter.
So anyway, so we get out there, and of course I don't know everything we're going to do. Done a lot of diving, but I've always done it from like in the rivers and in some of the
springs
in
boats,
the springs. So you basically get your gear on, and then you get off a little platform into the water. There's no effort whatsoever. You're not diving off a boat. You're not doing anything crazy. So how could this be any different? I'm not really taking it too serious. So I want to show this clip because I want you to see how easy it is to forget how Mother Nature is really in control. So let's show this first clip.
All right, Honcho, this is a special moment, man. This is our first dive together. So I've got dive knives. This one's mine. I'm gonna let you use this one, okay? Now, a lot of people think this is to protect you from dangerous sea creatures, and it could. However, something a lot more likely is if there is, say, something like a shark attacking us, take that, stab it into your dive buddy while they're bleeding out, you get away, and that's your best chances to survive. All right?
Thank you, Travis. Let's hope I don't have to use it, and if I do, it's going to be on Travis.
No. We've got him a cameraman, so you're not using that on me. You're stabbing him.
All right.
That just is kind of like, to me, is one of the first steps of Dragged Wild is you don't really realize what you're getting into. You assume that no matter what happens, you're going to be able to handle it. And I think that's a mistake we make a lot when we deal with things that we're not used to every day.
Exactly. And when we get pushed outside of our comfort zone, or absolutely any time through life, I think the word you're really looking for is underestimating.
Totally.
When you underestimate a challenge you have in front of you, you are setting yourself up for disaster. If you overestimate it, you are preparing, hopefully more so than you need to, and you're setting yourself up for an enjoyable experience, or achieving that goal, or not being as disappointed when you get out there.
I think that's the Dragged Wild lesson.
You're 100% correct, because when you underestimate something, that's the difference between life and death. Not only out in nature, but in our everyday activities, when we go through life, it's always better to overestimate. It's always better to be more prepared. Being underprepared, you're setting yourself up for failure. I didn't know whether or not you're gonna sink or swim.
You're like, is he gonna live or not? That's exciting to you.
That was exciting for me.
You're just an optimist, so you just assumed everything's gonna be wonderful no matter what.
Not even. Like, yeah, I am an optimist, but whether we achieved it or failed and had to do it again, which we did, it wasn't going to be a failure, because I knew we weren't going to give up, right? So I didn't know if you were going to, I had never dove with you. And when you've never done something with somebody, I've learned it's better to tiptoe into a scenario than to dive head first. So that beach, even though it was a little rough, I never felt like your life was in danger, because we were just a little swim from shore. And if I had to, I'd have knocked you out and dragged you over my shoulder back to the beach before you tried to kill any of our crew.
Let's show this next clip, because what you just said kind of, let me tell you the realization I had. While you're thinking all this about, hey, I'm excited to see who lives and dies, basically, I came into the realization that maybe I could have been a little over my head, because the waves got a little bit rough. But anyway, let's show this clip really quick.
Suddenly, just when I think I'm okay, a wave comes and slams down. It hits me hard enough that I lose my balance, and just when I get my balance again, another wave comes and hits me. So at this point, I'm starting to get a little wore out. I'm trying to catch my breath, so I'm starting to panic.
So while you're wondering who's going to live or die, I'm starting to panic. I started realizing that this wasn't going to be so easy as I thought. If I was prepared mentally, I probably wouldn't have had all the issues. To me, this was not, there was certainly a physical aspect too, because obviously I'm not a regular diver, and you know that doesn't help.
I want to call you out on that, because you were the same physical condition that we ended up...
Just as bad the second time, yeah. Just as bad later.
Just as exactly.
I hadn't exercised
I didn't want to quite say
from
that,
the first time.
But you can see it in his dive skin. It's
No,
just
you
as
can
bad. No. So seriously though, the difference...
No more Honcherita for you.
The difference...
I'm going to get more now.
The difference was your confidence.
It was. And you notice I brought up the mental thing.
Exactly.
You could blame it on a certain physical aspect. But the mental thing was me walking into powerful, beautiful nature.
Underestimating.
Just not really appreciating what she was telling me. And really, honestly, I did start to panic, which really surprised me. I've never felt panic like that.
You're pretty much spotlighting the man versus nature point of view. It's in a way that you're recognizing it's not man versus nature. It's man versus himself.
And that's exactly. I want to talk more about that.
Yeah.
I would like to show the next clip, because this is the one that surprised me.
Mother Nature can be rough. When the ocean's conditions are less than an inch of visibility, finding anything becomes nearly impossible. We didn't find a tooth today, but to me, that's okay. You know why? Because the mission continues, adventure, that way.
What surprised me about this clip was I was actually really feeling disappointed that I was disappointing you. I was feeling bad. You were there worried about all of us. We had a couple people in the water, a crew, and me, and you were taking care of all of us, because we were all kind of having a hard time.
You might not have been the only one dying out there.
Yes, in other words, no, I thought you were going to be really disappointed.
Yeah, it's not that I get disappointed. It's almost like, okay, I didn't achieve it this time. We didn't find the tooth, but there's another opportunity now. It's not over. We can get out there, do it again, and do it again, and do it again, as many times as we need to. The thing that kept the smile on my face, as you say, with the crew struggling, with you struggling, it was so exciting, so much fun to watch you not give up, because I called it. You were struggling like hell out there to keep your head above water, gasping for air, but you didn't want to give up. You say it's because of me.
I forgot about that.
You say it's because you didn't want to upset me, but I was so proud of you for wanting to just do it. I had to call it. I had to say, hey, this isn't. I was noticing your fatigue. You're getting exhausted out there, and with, as you said, with the crew kind of struggling, it was heading in a direction that you don't want to overstep your bounds. So I wanted to go recollect ourselves, which we did, and we came up with a strategy of getting back out there in the future. But how can I be disappointed when you are literally doing everything you can and more to not give up?
I forgot about that. You did call it. And I was really, of course, I'm kind of torn because I want my host, somebody has to die. Well, that's, as a producer, and
you were ready to sacrifice.
Somebody has to die, but then in this case, it was me that had to die, so it was more easier choice for me as a producer. And you did, I think you did save my life. And here's how I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to give you a little bit of Hancharita, and then we're even, right?
There you go.
I owe you nothing.
And just to further touch on that clip, if it's a big if, but if you look at it as you're not finished, there's no such thing as failure. Because if we went back out there and didn't find it, and then we went back out there and didn't find it again, we go back out there 10 more times and never find that tooth, did we fail? The answer is no if we plan on going back out there again. We're in the process of achieving. We're not in the process of failing. So when you look at life as an opportunity to achieve whatever it is that you set out to achieve, then you will not fail if your entire existence never gives up. The only way you'll fail is if you give up. It's a point of view.
And all the time we work together, I know you're a go-getter. I know it's important for you to achieve things. But what I learned from you this time is that you also understand and you respect Mother Nature. So your respect for Mother Nature is what I learned a lot about from you.
Yeah.
Because you recognize that this wasn't the time, but we also weren't about to give up. So I want to talk about the next clip. And this was very soon after this all happened. That day, if you'd asked me, like, I just wanted to get out of the water, if you'd asked me, hey, we're going to try again, I would have said, hell no. We're done. It didn't work. Let's go get somebody else, right? That was my attitude that day.
Oh, yeah.
So let's show this next clip, and I'll let you know how I felt a couple of days later.
So I gave Honcho a list of where we can find that giant tooth. It was a phosphate mine. It was searching Peace River, a really easy expedition. But Honcho, tell them what you want to do.
I decide I want to go back to that beach and I want to try it again.
Exactly.
I mean, if you'd asked me that day, I would have said, hell no, I'm not going back in there. But damn it, dude, when I thought about it, it really pissed me off. For me, it's personal. I want to go back to that beach. I want to get done just to prove that I can do it.
So, for a minute, it seemed attractive to me to take that really easy little river cruise. I could sit on a float.
Yeah, the way
just sit on my stomach and kind of look through the water.
Not even. The way that I set that adventure up would have been, you would have been on like an inner tube or something, and I would have given you a trough. I would have dug the muck, put it on that strainer for you to just sip through while you were drinking a margarita.
Yes, or daiquiri or whatever. But
oh, sorry. Didn't want to get his drink
pina
wrong.
colada, yeah.
There you go.
So, here's the thing. Even though I didn't want to be the dragged wild subject, I knew that there's no way that I was going to be happy until we went back and tried it again.
So you're saying even if you went on an easier expedition and found a tooth, it wouldn't have been the same thing.
When I got sober, I would have been really disappointed. Of course, I would have been happy during the time, but as soon as I got sober, I would have been totally miserable.
Now you had the mental mind frame. You had the right headspace Now it was about building your skill set. And then when you combine the two, I knew when we got back to that beach, you were going to be a whole new character, ready to conquer.
It just awoke in me a desire. I'm not going to say conquer because that's not the right word, but a desire to coexist with nature.
But conquer is not a bad word. It's not conquer nature.
But
it's conquer you.
Yourself.
Conquer your fears, your insecurities.
Absolutely. So the conquering is yourself.
Exactly.
So let's play this clip, and then we'll talk about it.
We get out to the first waves, and yeah, they're pretty big. But I'll tell you what, the first couple of hit, but our new strategy of filling the vests up and then putting them on past the waves is working. I'm able to get out pretty far without any struggling, and so far, no panicking.
It's already going way better than last time.
So, before we got in the water, the waves were actually bigger than the last time we went.
Exactly.
But I was just so determined. And yes, I was afraid to, but I just kind of knew somehow this was going to be different. And I had a different attitude.
Yeah. And what's crazy, the mission for the show was for me to help you to set up a scenario to where you find your own Megatooth. The mission for you became for you to just get back into that ocean, get down there, and prove to yourself that you can dive in those conditions. So it just so happened that Mother Nature, the environment, the conditions created a very similar, if not worse, environment for you to get back into that ocean. If it would have been a bathtub when we got back there, like it could have been very easily, you might not have been proud of yourself.
I probably wouldn't have been.
Exactly.
I think I would have been disappointed.
You needed to overcome your fear, your challenge. You needed to do that. And this episode is beautiful because not only do you achieve your mission, but we achieve the mission that I was hoping to achieve from the beginning. Nature was like, hey, I'm gonna give you even a little bit more difficult of a situation. We modified, we molded our tactic. We put our gear up in the water, which gave you more confidence, following a plan that was more going with the flow of what nature provided for you.
Absolutely. And to our audience, if you ever get the opportunity to be dragged wild, I promise you, this man will take you on a journey that will help you, and you can trust him. So Travis, I know you say we, but you know what? You've already done it. I know you've been through all these experiences, and that's why you're the host of Dragged Wild, because you actually can say, hey, I've paddled for 7 days. Hey man, I lived on an island living off the natural resources for a long time. Like, you've been there, you've done it. So I love the way you say we, but you're being very generous, but that's the tribe. I mean, we're a tribe.
We're a
That's
tribe.
why it's a we.
We're a team. The idea is to go in, to come out together. So it is 100%. It's a we.
It's
I'm
a
not
we.
saying it to be
That's what
polite.
I mean. That's what I mean. I know you, and that all the stuff I went through before, all the pain and panic, worry, you knew as soon as I put that tooth
That's
in
right.
my hand, your focus the whole time dealing with all this was the end goal of getting that tooth.
Exactly. Literally, it was the culmination. It was the pinnacle. And you can have a crazy expedition going on a mountain climb, right? But it's something about summiting that you'll remember forever. And it puts the trademark on that journey. You now putting this tooth on your bookshelf or wherever you put it, it's a reminder that you went through all those obstacles and you transformed.
I was looking for the tooth.
Where
Where'd
is
I
that
put it?
tooth?
Where did I put it?
Oh,
It's
Lord.
somewhere here. Oh my gosh, I think I lost
Your
it.
prized possession.
Those Honcho Ritas, they're terrible.
It must be in your pocket.
I must put it in my pocket.
Watch this. I guarantee you it's in his pocket.
Dang it. What did I do with it? Oh my god. Wow.
We worked so hard for this
I know,
thing.
we worked so hard for it and I can't find it.
Try standing up for real.
right.
I know it's in there.
What the hell did I do with it? Wait, it's here. It's here.
I told you. It's in his pocket. What'd I tell you,
It's
right?
a small pocket where I keep other things, which I don't usually look for this. Anyway,
So, exactly. Let me see that tooth real quick.
it's mine. It's mine.
Something that's really cool about this tooth, and the reason why it was so important for me, for you to actually find it, is not only does it give the proper ending to the episode, but this is the icing on the cake. Cake can sustain itself. Cake can be a great story, but if you got yourself a really delicious cream cheese frosting, that icing is worth every penny.
There's so many revelations that happened with this tooth. This was a different one.
That's right.
But Travis, I think you have even a deeper perspective than that.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of thinking. On the episode, we talk a lot about how that shark, that apex predator, it pushes the prey that it eats to radiate, to speciate into all sorts of different directions. So by having that shark be itself in the past, we literally create a present that is beautiful and bountiful right now. But there's an even deeper underlying theme to this show, because the past and the present aren't necessarily disconnected. And what I mean by that is, when I look around, I see a lot of my brothers and sisters not really recognizing exactly what we consist of, exactly what makes up this body, these bodies that are just walking around our world. The sulfur inside your fingernails were emitted from hydrothermal vents or spewed out of volcanoes. The carbon that makes up your skin was literally breathed out by the Jesus and the Buddhas and the Muhammads and the billions of other people and other creatures, other organisms that have lived in the past. Look at this. This right here. That droplet right there is mostly water. And that water has sailed in the clouds, dumped rainstorms into the Amazon basin, flowed down into the ocean, been locked up into glaciers, and cascaded over Victoria Falls. Those water droplets have seen the cyanobacteria transforming our atmosphere. It's seen the rise of the fish. It's seen the emergence of frogs going onto the land. It's poured over the dinosaurs. Right there, those water droplets. And how many water droplets are you made up of? Right? Your whole body is not only in the past, but in the present and going into the future. Everything you are is Earth. You are the Earth. And when we recognize that, we start realizing that every adventure and every discovery, we're really just understanding ourselves better, because we've kind of created a disconnection. But it's not even that we're connected. It's that we are it. It's not about finding our true nature. It's that we are nature. And it's that point that we need to really harness in order to truly understand not only who we are, but how we want to take it from here.
It's almost like time travel. We can see our past, but we can see our future at the same point.
100%. You know how biblically it says, love thy neighbor as thyself. It's saying that, hey, love your neighbor, because if you were born in your neighbor's circumstances, your neighbor's socio-class or ethnicity or what, you would be that neighbor in that experience. You are your neighbor.
Exactly.
To me, when you truly understand that that water droplet has been from the beginning and will be into the future, it's almost as if when you recognize that we are the earth, love thy earth as yourself.
Absolutely.
Because you are the earth.
Are earth, right.
It's all one.
Isn't that amazing? And that is the message of Dragged Wild, man. That is what it's about, brother. Love you, man. Cheers.
Love you
I'm gonna
too.
do a quick here. Let's cheers.
Yeah, and before we conclude this, one thing I do want to, you don't know, he does not know about clip number 6.
I'm not being a guest anymore. Never again.
Guess
Never again.
He's so scared.
I will kill you.
He's so scared I'm going to tell
Never-
him.
I will never
Episode
dive
3,
again.
Honcho.
I'm gonna
Just
hotel
kidding.
forever.
No, this isn't that severe. But you do not know that we have a clip number 6.
Not the one of me peeing on the beach.
No, that's clip number 7.
Okay.
How do you know that? No, this is, clip number 6 is going to explain why we couldn't call this Operation Megalodon. Play clip number 6.
I got a What are you talking about?
Excited, Honcho. You just found a tooth, man.
I'm just gonna go from the,
Sure.
and what do you know?
Yeah.
It was a megalodon. What is it?
Megatooth.
And what do you know? Wait. And what do you know? It's a megatooth. Oh, damn it.
So that's why we had to call it Megatooth the whole time, just in case you were wondering.
I'm not a zoologist, all right?
There you go.
Just Meg. That's what they say in the movie, that's what I say. By the way, I got the tooth. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Dragged Wild Afterbytes. Please make sure you watch the full episode and along with the other things we have out there. I'm sure you'll love it. Write us, and maybe you, if you tell us the right things and you send us the right pictures, you could be part of the Dragged Wild family. Because once you hang out with us, you never want to leave. You're going to want to be with us forever. Thank you, Tribe and Travis, as you always say.
Honcho proved this. The wild is within you.
And don't forget to subscribe, because when you subscribe, you join the tribe.
That's
In
right.
the meantime,
Go roam or go home.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.